Hey guys, let's talk about Patreon. Patreon is a platform that enables you to support this podcast for as little as £3 a month.
For that £3 a month, you get access to an exclusive episode every week where we're at home, we get chonged, sometimes we go on Omegle on mushrooms, and you also get access to a live show that we do every month.
The live shows are mental. You're missing out if you're not there in person or watching them on our Patreon. We get local comedians to come up and do 1 minute of their best stand-up for you, and then we ask them very intrusive questions on stage. It's hilarious, it's awkward, I love it, and we have special guest panellists with us. So we've just had Dan Nightingale, we got Freddie Quinn on the next one, we'll have Adam Rowe on one of the future episodes. It's all very exciting, an absolute bargain for £3 a month.
There's also a huge back catalogue of Shed episodes, tarot readings that Amy used to do for our guests, and you get early access to the public episodes every week. You also get early access to live show tickets and any merch that we bring out.
The more you pay, the more you get. So our £5 patrons get members only club cards, they get a print, they get a discount on tickets. £10 as well as the members only club card, they get a signed print, they get discount on merch, and they get a free ticket to the live shows, which is a ridiculous value for money.
Every month.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
So sign up today for as little as £3 a month. It's not even £1 a week. You get all that stuff we just said. Come join us in our house, your two favourite northern stoners.
Yeah.
It's dead fun over here. Join the club. Get involved. Enjoy this week's episode.
It's a party up in here.
Whoop whoop. What's happening? We're going straight into a conversation about being Muslim.
Yeah, straight away.
Eshaan Akbar's here, by the way.
What a surprise.
For the audio listeners, we're allowed to.
I feel like I'm the Northwest podcast representative of all Muslims, basically. Every time we come on.
Yeah. So what we were just saying was a lad come up to me in a bar and was like, "Oh, I love your tattoos, but I can't have any because I'm Muslim."
Yeah.
But he was bladdered.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if you were allowed to do that.
Okay, so I kind of get it because I'm in a similar space because I really want to get tattoos as well.
Yeah.
Basically, the Muslim thing on it is you can't get buried if you have a tattoo.
Right.
So basically, you can be bladdered. Let's say you're bladdered, but you're in control of that. When you're dead, your friends and family see that you're tattooed. They can't then bury you.
Right, but they don't know you were bladdered.
Yeah, they might not know that you were bladdered. Right? Or high.
You have to keep it a secret, though. You're not allowed to get drunk, are you?
You're not allowed to drink alcohol.
Okay, yeah. All right, sound. Yeah.
So
it makes sense why you were saying it, but at the same time, I was like,
it is weird.
Are you drunk?
Yeah.
Why are they not allowed to bury you with a tattoo?
So I love that this is what the podcast has become as soon as I come in. So basically, Islam is obsessed with the afterlife.
Yes.
So their view on it. So for example, when someone dies, they try and bury you as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And they say that a tattoo or any other kind of non-medical alteration to your body is messing around with God's creation.
Right, okay.
So what they say is they bury you as you are as quickly as possible so the angels can come in and start getting you prepared for the afterlife.
Right, okay, I get you.
I think it's the same with Judaism as well. I don't think you're allowed tattoos.
You're not allowed to be cremated either.
Yeah.
We learned that yesterday.
We had my one-eyed, one-legged cousin on the pod on Patreon.
Yeah.
And she was in a coma.
She was in a coma and woke up saying now she thinks she's Jesus.
Did she have the leg and the eye before the coma?
So she lost her eye, she lost her leg, and I think...
And then went into a diabetic coma.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, what a life.
Oh, honestly, like even having the leg amputated, the surgeon fucked it up. So she had to have 2 amputations.
Was it a diabetic leg amputation? Did she
No.
Oh, just...
It was...
You have to go on our Patreon to find out the full story.
Right.
It involved bathing her foot in Dettol.
Because it initially
We'll
does sound
leave
like
it
some
at that.
What?
Yeah.
Final Destination mishap, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was...
It was crazy.
Schnicket.
But yeah, she was saying about like, because since she's been in the coma, she's like convinced she's like this healer, and she's been looking into loads of like. She was in the Black Sea or the Dead Sea.
I just love the thought of her turning up to people saying, "I can heal you with one leg." And being like, "You."
She's a proper paradise as well.
It's like me trying to be a fitness instructor. It doesn't make any sense.
I can get you ripped, you know.
Although, have you seen Usain Bolt's trainer?
No.
He's like a really fat old Jamaican dude
Is
who
he?
like sits in a deck chair. He can barely get up out of the deck chair himself.
And he just goes, run.
But he just like times him and trains
Yeah.
him, and Usain's proper scared of him. It's crazy.
Is
That's
that like
mad,
the Cool Runnings thing though, where they're like, he was the best?
yeah. He was once upon a time. Yeah.
That's mad. But
But
yeah,
she was saying that when she was in a coma, she was in the Black Sea for ages. So it felt, didn't she say she was like, felt she was fully conscious, but she was just trapped in a nightmare, which is mad, isn't it?
Jesus.
Do you know, I kind of, not to get too dark too quickly, but I kind of understand that because before my mum passed away, she was in a coma. And I remember on the third day of her coma, like she was completely knocked out. And I sat next to her and I was a bit like, Mum, look, I have no idea if you can hear me.
yeah,
But if you can, like, give me a sign. What's going on? And she cried.
right.
And I never forget it because it was like she was
Yeah.
definitely in a coma and she definitely cried. So I wonder
Yeah,
whether
yeah.
people in comas can actually just...
Yeah,
Well-
just there's something got like you can hear something or whatever. And
Yeah.
And that's what she was saying in Judaism. The Black Sea is where like lost souls go. And so I was saying, like, you know, the woman who woke up from a coma with a Chinese accent. Maybe she just picked up a
The
little
wrong
Asian
soul jumped in. It was a Chinese man's soul or something.
I'm getting weird, worried about all this soul, because, you know, these are very spiritual. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a medium on. And they're going to try and contact me dad.
Right.
So I'm a little bit... I'm scared.
We're not going to try and
Is it
contact him.
We're
But
gonna-
if
I'd
it
love
happens,
if he outed you for something not.
Yeah.
Does the medium
well-
have his number or is he dead?
Oh, no. Oh, no, he's dead. He's
yeah, we're just going to prank call Tom's dad.
just call the number.
Just ring him. Yeah.
Just put it on loudspeaker under the table.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best medium in the world.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Before we get on, like, can we give Eshaan this card? We've been forgetting to give them to our guests, so
Okay.
we need to do it at the start now. We have a members only card
Okay. Oh, wow.
That's
for our
you.
guests and our Patreons.
Amazing.
That entitles you to one favour,
What are you going to ask? You don't have to ask right now.
Okay.
just
What?
in the
One
future.
favour from?
Whatever.
Both.
you
From
guys?
us,
Yeah.
from us guys, yeah.
Right, okay. I'm going to have to think about it then.
Yeah, have a think.
Anything.
I mean, you just don't have to think about it right now.
Yeah,
just in
yeah.
the future, if you go,
Right.
shit, I'm in Liverpool or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to be like, I've just killed a man.
Yeah.
That's going to be the best day.
Well, I mean,
because
you've
me and
already
Amy
given me a
have to go
lift,
and-
so that feels like a favour.
I'll give that back then.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
It could
Nice
ju-
one for coming on.
Or it could just be like, have you got a number? Because we were going to ask you, well, Amy was going to ask you just before the pod started. You've just started
Just dabbling. Just started dabbling.
dipping
Oh,
your
yeah.
toe.
Yeah, and
Yes,
the
yeah.
old drugs.
Well,
Very
Well, dipping a
recently.
pinky in it into drugs.
Yeah, very
Dipping
recently started
toes.
dabbling. The first time I ever took any kind of drug, which isn't alcohol or whatever, or bacon in my case, I was 30, so 7 years ago,
Yeah.
and I started with MDMA.
Just straight in, yeah.
Yeah.
What was happening there? Was you on a night out or something? Or?
I was on a night out. I'd just been broken up with, and I was very happy for the breakup actually.
Right.
Because the concept of this breakup, she was someone who classed herself as a very like staunch ex-Muslim, and let me try to summarize as best as I can. Basically, Muslims, we wash our bum holes, right? And she, in her wisdom of becoming an ex, she was like, I'm not going to do anything associated with Islam at all. So I think, basically, we used to have sex and she used to have a really smelly arsehole. It was like, it was so disgusting, right? And she would insist.
Just like the whole opposite way of like, I'm never going to even touch
I'm not
it
even
again.
gonna fucking wash.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was, because she wasn't trained in how to use toilet paper properly, she would insist on us doing doggy, and I'd be like, it stinks. I don't want to do
bad,
this.
yeah.
It is awful. And it's like especially bad when you've got like this combination of like sex smells and sweat
Yeah.
and smelly up. Oh, it was too much. Anyway, so when she broke up with me, I was just in quite a
Made
good
up
place.
because you're not with the shitty
Yeah,
ass
I was in
girl
quite a
anymore.
good place because I didn't have to have the conversation with her. Maybe
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
listening to the pod.
Yeah. What's happening, shitty ass?
Thanks. So that night I went out, and my friend who had been dabbling in this stuff for a long, long time, he was like, "Do you want to try MDMA?" And I said, "Do you know what? Fuck it. Yeah. You know what? I'm
Why
in my
not?
30s.
Yeah.
I was such a good boy in my 20s. Oh, it was the best night of my life.
Yeah.
It was so good. I was in London. We went to Heaven, which is a gay club, and I just remember sprinting just in circles around this club.
Breaking all the
Top
Muslim
off.
rules.
Yeah.
Huh? Heaven and everything.
I did, yeah. Yes, at one point I did take my top off.
Yeah.
It was just such an amazing experience. And then I'm somehow quite lucky. I don't really get come downs or hangovers.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't get a come down off MDMA, no. That's the worst thing I've heard about it. Like people go, oh, it's amazing, but the next day, because you've had so much like fucking serotonin or whatever, you fucked like the next day.
I know, I just feel I'm very lucky physiologically that those things don't seem to happen to me. So then after that was kind of the gateway where I thought, oh, do you know what? As long as you do it responsibly, there's no harm in just trying different things.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you know as long as you know what you're buying is what you're getting.
Yeah.
Then it's do it as safely as possible. Then
Exactly. So I've
you're
had a couple
grown
of
adult,
good
like it's do what you want, isn't it?
Precisely. I've had a couple of good, like since then I've done MDMA a few more times, and some of them have been amazing, some of them not so good, just depending on the quality of the MDMA, I guess. But it's been a really fun journey, and I'm enjoying exploring all of this.
Yeah. So what have you had so far then?
MDMA, acid.
Yeah.
I had 2CB for the first time.
So that's like an acid sort of
Ecstasy, there's a bit of ecstasy.
Yeah,
Is it a mix,
was
is it?
honestly, it is the best. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It was 3 weeks ago. So basically, it was about 3 weeks ago. It was my friend's birthday. He did a birthday karaoke thing from midday till 4 o'clock, and he said, "Look, have you ever done TCB?" I said, "No." And it came in a pill form, and you get like the waviness of acid, like colours and stuff, and you get like I would call it the pre-high of MDMA.
Right. Okay.
Like, you're feeling like you're coming up, and it lasts for about 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
So from midday till 4 a.m. the next morning, I'd popped about 4.5 of these pills.
Yeah. Just having
an
belter of a time.
amazing time.
I'm a bit like I don't know if I take pills because I know people die on them. And my body's like so shit. Like I'm allergic to alcohol. I can't drink alcohol.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me. Yeah,
and cocodamol. Like
yeah, so 2CBs might be a bit out of your thing.
So I just go for weed,
natural stuff, innit?
Yeah.
Oh right, okay, fine. That's how you, okay.
Just because I can't risk it.
Yeah, fine.
Like even like if I have green tea in the morning, I'll be sick.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
I was going to ask, what have you had that you think, no, not going to go there again?
Coke.
Yeah.
Cocaine, weed. I'm not a big fan of.
No.
Because I came from a banking career,
Yeah.
so I was surrounded by cocaine.
Right. Okay.
They used to, I used to work on trading floors where they had silver trays on top of the toilets because they knew the bankers and traders would do them.
Yeah, that's
everyone
mad.
Is it
does
really
coke.
that?
Proper Wolf of Wall Street. shit.
Yeah, it really
it
was.
is.
Like, particularly when I was there before the crash in 2008. So it was very like, there was a lot of that stuff happening. Wolf of Wall Street is, of course, an exaggeration of it.
Yeah.
But, I remember going to an American banker's party in a penthouse in Chelsea.
Yeah.
And he hired one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, this Colombian woman, who her job was to either lay out coke on the table or across her breasts.
Yeah.
And you just did...
So just done coke off
Whichever
the
you want.
boobs and that.
And I was just there with like a Diet Coke going,
Whichever you
it's interesting, isn't it? Because I didn't really drink then either.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
No, I didn't. I was like, oh my God, tits, I'm scared. I don't know what to do with them.
People getting tattoos in the corner.
Yeah. Is that a bacon sandwich? Oh no!
If you're real, why'd you put me here? It's too much.
True test, that innit? Yeah. So was you doing all the banking before you got into comedy?
Yeah. Before I got into comedy.
So what was like that transition from being a banker into starting stand up and then like?
So I'd always done something on the side of my serious job. So I used to be a Bollywood dance choreographer.
Right.
For a long time, which
What
I got
do you
paid
mean?
to do. Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I used to do all the light bulbs and all that stuff. But I used to choreograph Bollywood dances to the point where I was going to go to India and do it professionally.
Yeah.
I was like, look at her face.
That's amazing.
Gonna teach us when we do one at the end of the
You
show.
must teach us.
I will for sure. So I'd always done that stuff. Then I did some Amdram. And I just thought, let me just give stand-up comedy a go. Look, I'd never watched stand-up really. Like at the time I knew who Michael McIntyre was, who Lee Evans was, and that was it. I heard of Mickey Flanagan. So I just gave it a go, and I just immediately fell in love with it. I was like, this is fucking sick.
It was better than Amdram.
Yeah, it's yes, so much better. And that was what 2014.
Oh right, yeah.
And then complete 2 months later after I started, my mum died. But I
Right.
don't know how much of that had to do with the fact that I started comedy, and she was like, "Oh fuck,
Fuck this, I'm out of here.
I can't take this shit. I worked too
That was
hard."
the last straw.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, give me a heart attack," and then she died.
So were your parents like
Didn't you
against
teabag
you
your
doing
mum?
it?
Is that you?
Say again?
Teabagged your mum?
Yeah, I did teabag my mum.
Love the way you were like, was
that
that
makes
you?
it worse somehow. if I teabagged her while she was alive.
Yeah, don't worry. She was deceased.
Yeah, no, don't worry. It's just a cultural thing,
animal.
mate. Do you know what I reckon? If I said, "Oh, it's just a cultural thing," people are like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, you can't question it. Yeah,
It's just a ritual. They're like, "Maybe that's what you do."
yeah.
People are so scared to offend. They're like, "Oh no, I've heard that somewhere."
Yeah,
100%.
It's how the
You can
soul
make up, you
passes.
can make up so much shit, and white
Yeah.
people will be like, "Yeah, sure."
I think that was partially, not to go right into it, but I think that was part of the Will Smith thing. Like if that was a white guy who went up and slapped someone on national, people would have been like, "What the fuck?" But because it was a black guy, they were still like, "Ah,
Yeah. Fresh Prince.
Maybe it's just how they express love.
I heard a conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
let's go."
Have
Oh
you
yeah,
heard this?
yeah.
And
No.
and I don't, obviously, it's probably not true, might be though. So, Pfizer have just released a new alopecia drug.
And they sponsored the Oscars.
Pfizer sponsored the Oscars. So people are like, it was
What do you
all a
reckon?
thing.
That is so QAnon. I love it.
But it was you had an actual thing, didn't you?
Oh, they have brought out the drug, yeah.
Yeah.
And they did sponsor the Oscars. So people are like, oh, it's all about causing hype around alopecia for the release of the
Raise
drug.
awareness.
I was waiting for this though, because like anything happens now, I'm just waiting for the conspiracy theories.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's about everything in it.
Just sound like me.
That is weird though, isn't it?
Do you know?
Is
Do you know
it-
what
do
I
you
love
not
about that
reckon?
story? Is I would love it. Like, you know how Viagra was found by mistake?
Mm.
Like, if they made this alopecia drug, but they couldn't stop hair growth, just couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, you had the longest pubes in the world.
We all look like Adam's family. What is it? The thing. Yeah.
That'd be so funny.
You have to shave just everywhere apart from your hairline.
Yeah, just constantly growing.
Aye, that'd be bad.
Like Chewbacca.
So you're not fond of that conspiracy then? No.
Well, it's just you just all sound like me mum. My mum went. My mum was like, "Well, the thing about that Will Smith thing is," and I just went, "Mum, stop there. Just let it be funny. Just let it be a funny thing that happened. Why does everything have to be a mad
Yeah.
conspiracy?" What did you make of it? It was pretty crazy, wasn't it?
It was absolutely insane. And, like, the reaction to it has been, like, even more annoying. I don't know if you saw recently on Twitter,
Seen one of them, yeah.
oh my God, there is a comedian who shall not be named who basically said something about how, oh, this is what I think about, and then said, oh,
yeah.
I've realised I've got white skin.
Yeah.
I don't think should say anything about what, and this is the phraseology she used, what a black man does to another black man over their black wife. And I'm like, that is so,
Sophie Hagen.
Yeah.
thank you. And I was just like, this is horse shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what a thing. You're allowed as a comedian to be like, this is fucking insane.
You're allowed to have an opinion on stuff, aren't you? Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's heckle away. Do you know what I mean? Heckle all you want. But for someone who's like, he claims to be really peaceful and centered, and that snapped you, like, other shit's going on. Do you think he was scared that he was going to go on to make jokes about her sleeping round, and he was like, I can't take that.
I don't know.
I'm just going to go and
I
I'm going to go and
don't know.
smack
He
him.
laughed first.
Yeah.
he
Oh,
did.
that for me, that game over. He laughed first, looked at it, and he was like, "I need to do something."
Yeah.
Then even then, just go, hey, stop talking about my wife.
Yeah. Just scream at him, and that would have been awkward enough and stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
Go
just a
and smack 'em.
split second, like, fight or flight, wasn't it?
But
And
he's been chasing that Oscar for years as
Yeah.
well, and he's just tarnished this whole night, and it's like no
he's
one.
probably not asked. Him and I posted on TikTok later being like, today we chose chaos. Like,
Oh my
afterwards.
God.
Yeah.
They're leaning into it.
Sponsored by
Yeah,
Pfizer.
They're going all Spencer and Heidi on it. They're like, let's be
Yeah,
the bang
sponsored
guys.
by Pfizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mad.
thought it was hilarious though.
yeah.
It was just weird to
Yeah,
see, wasn't
it
it?
is
I'm
nice.
going to.
Yeah, that was the best thing.
Has anything like that happened to you? Like close to it happened to you in any kind of performative space? Like
No, not really.
I've had a
Yeah.
guy
What do you
get
mean?
on stage and take the mic off me,
Yeah.
and before we came to blows, the bouncer turned up.
Yeah.
I would have lost,
Right.
but I'm from like a background where you have a go. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
would,
See what happens, yeah.
yeah. The shame is not having a go.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would have
yeah.
I had my fists ready to go.
Yeah.
I would have.
So what was the build up to that?
So basically, I was on was at the Piccadilly Comedy Club and in the West End in London, and I mean they were just all absolutely shit-faced.
Right.
And funnily enough, it was a bald dude. Must be something about that.
And baldies aren't
sure people are bald people.
Yeah.
The ones who go.
So I can't even remember the ins and outs of it, but basically he and I went into a back and forth. He was calling me fat, I was calling him bald and all this stuff. And he goes, "Oh, you better shut the fuck up, or it was going to be really bad for you."
Yeah.
I was like, "You're not going to do fucking nothing, mate." And then he stood up. And I was like, "You're still not going to do nothing." Lo and behold, he's walking onto the stage.
Yeah.
And I kind of decided to go with some weird manga-esque Dragon Ball Z thing and just like put my mic out like this, like I was about to start fencing the fucker. Right. And he just grabbed it. And I don't know what. To this day, I don't know why I did that position. He grabbed the mic, and by that point, the bouncer just came.
It'd be so funny if he grabbed it like in them self-defense ones, you know, where he like grabbed the gun and turned it round, he grabbed it off you and he had it to you, and you were like, "Oh shit, man!"
Or you started like Kill Bill in it.
Yeah. On the wire,
Like a mace, yeah.
Such a weird position to take. I was like, "Oh God!"
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah, that's how you know that you weren't ready to fight someone.
I
When you
wasn't.
go,
It was like,
I was speaking to Callum Oakley last week's guest, and he was telling me some like pretty horrible stories about getting racial abuse.
Yeah.
And I've never, I mean, the worst thing I've ever had is like, "Oh, hide your wallets, it's a scoser." Have you ever had some really bad nights where it's like overtly racist?
yeah, I mean, King's Lynn
yeah,
is the worst.
is that it?
Yeah. I've said
King's Lynn.
King's Lynn, just at the top of Norwich, like Norfolk way. And I said to my agent, I will never, ever, ever go there again.
Done there, yeah.
I was about maybe 3.5 years in. And I went on stage, and a group of like 10 lads got up and just started walking out immediately. So I tried to make some sort of quip about how they were going to go for a piss at the same time and hold each other's knobs to do it.
Yeah.
And then one of them goes, "We don't want to hear what a fucking packy has to say." And I was like, "Oh, gee, one of them ones. Okay, I didn't expect this to happen."
Yeah.
And then I did my set, got like one laugh in 20 minutes, left. There's another comedian called Gordon Southern who went on after me. And he started doing this bit about Brexit, and this table of 4, average age, 97 probably.
Yeah.
They go, "Stop talking about Brexit. The black guy before you was talking about Brexit." So then Gordon goes, "Black, what? Well, Eshaan,
Yeah.
he's not black." And this is the thing they said. To this day, I still don't know whether it was an insult or a compliment. They go, "Yeah, but he smells black."
What does that mean?
So I'm on the side, confused as fuck.
What does that mean?
What that fucking means?
She's like they were so old they couldn't see, but they're like, "There's one in the room."
He
I
fucking
can
smells
smell it.
black. You're like, I don't know what that means.
That's mad.
And so,
That's a mad shout, that.
and then Gordon was done. He called them a cunt. He was done with the gig. He packed up his stuff.
Yeah.
And then because he drove me to the gig, and he was parked directly opposite this table of 4.
Right.
So the 4 women come and two couples, and one of the old women says to Gordon, "How dare you call a woman of my age the C word?" And Gordon's like, "I mean, you're being a cunt."
Yeah.
And then her husband goes to Gordon, "You're un-English because you voted to stay in the European Union." This was not long after Brexit. Voted to stay in the European Union, and you're driving a fucking packy home. And Gordon was about to spark this old fucker out. And I said, "Gordon, listen, get in the car, because if something happens, I'm going to jail." I know how this shit works. Yeah. So please,
Let's go, yeah.
let's go. And he had white knuckle driving all the way back. And yeah, that was like the worst thing I've had. But then also, oddly, I've also done gigs for like people like Lee Hurst. Lee Hurst is known to be kind of quite a right-wing comedian, got Britain First. I love those gigs.
Yeah, right.
I have loved doing those gigs. You know, I would go on stage and they will stop clapping. They will as I come on. And people will get up and walk away.
Yeah.
And by the end, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're not like the other ones," which is racist, but I like it. I want to be the best Asian.
You must respect it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Like,
like,
I
yeah,
go,
I'm fucking sick.
Yeah, as soon as you laugh, they go, "He's all right."
Yeah.
Damn. Because you can't control laughter, can you?
Yeah.
Like, he's all right, I guess. Well, that's fine.
Would you find...
For anyone from
find it
King's
all right
Lynn,
up here?
fuck you.
Yeah, go
How
fuck
about that?
yourself. Worst place on earth.
Yeah. Find Liverpool all right, though.
You know, and I've said this begrudgingly to Adam many times. You know, I'm a born and bred Londoner, privately educated, support Man United, and it hurts me how much I love this city.
Yeah.
I love Liverpool. I love the people to the point where I'm even considering moving here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of our questions.
He's touched on something I was going to ask you because I saw that you were falling in love with the city. What's the best part? And honestly, like, what's the worst part of Liverpool?
In your opinion?
Even if it's just gigging.
Interestingly, like, the best part is just the people. And maybe I'm lucky because I know good people in Liverpool, so they show me a good time. But even the kind of strangers I meet, they've all been so warm and kind and nice.
Yeah.
I've yet to experience the worst part, I have to say. I've got nothing but positive things to say about this city. Like, yeah, fair enough. I've not been to the parts where maybe it might be a bit sketchy, or it might be a bit difficult, and I don't know yet. But by the same token, I grew up in East London, and there's parts of London which I don't want to go to. I think that's true of any city. But just every time I come out at Liverpool Lime Street, there's just a vibe in the place. Yeah, when you're walking in through the shopping centre, because it's the home of the Beatles, I guess people are singing and everything, and I quite like the fierce independence of the place. Yeah, right. And as someone, that's one thing as I've been growing up as a comic, I get quite jealous of people from specific regions who have so much love. So if you're a Liverpudlian comedian or a Birmingham or whatever, the city gets behind you. Yeah. London's too big. Who's a London comedian? There's no such thing really. Yeah. So I have a lot of love for this city. Yeah. And I'm yet to... That's not a call out for you to start being fucking racist pricks.
Stop throwing shit at Eshaan when you see him.
When you see me, just start chucking stuff at me. Yeah.
I thought it was dead funny at the one of the live shows when your brother was there. Yeah. And everyone was like getting pictures with his brother. Being like, picture with Eshaan.
You think that's bad? Literally. Last Sunday I did a gig in Oxford. It was an Asian gig as well, like to an Asian audience. The next day, my brother sends me a message. A woman messaged my brother saying, I loved you at the gig yesterday. He was at the gig. I loved you at the gig yesterday. My brother was like, sorry, have I met you? And she's like, I was sat directly opposite you while you were doing all these gags about stuff. And he was like, that was my brother? Yeah. And I'm like, how has she found my brother on Instagram to compliment me? And she's Asian. So when you guys do it doesn't fucking matter, does it? It's just ridiculous.
That's mad.
And the weird thing is my brother's Chinese.
Oh, but he smells like one.
He smells like
something. It's just written down here. It says Carvery Car Park.
Oh, fucking hell. Do you want to take this one?
I don't really want it. We got offered a foursome in the car park.
In a car park of a carvery.
Car park of a carvery.
Yeah.
Where all the best foursomes happen.
Fan of the podcast, yeah.
Right.
What his messages?
Couple. No, they
seen him in the car park.
And he's went fancy little
foursome.
Him and his missus. Yeah.
Jesus.
You're like, Taylor's toys.
I almost like I've got respect for it. The bottle.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I just want to know, like, if we had said yeah.
Well, what did you say?
No.
No thanks.
Not today, mate. Just had a carvery.
The carvery won't be the best.
Wait there, so you're leaving loads out. You've just finished the carvery, a vegan carvery, which sounds horrible.
I mean, it's just a roast without the meat bit.
What's the point?
A roast 90% veg anyway.
You don't expect that when you go out for a spit roast. You're like, this is the kind of oh shit.
So you're walking out. Does he come over to you? Does he just shout from the car?
They were getting in their car, and he went, love the podcast. And we were like, oh, nice one. He was like, oh, Taylor's Toys. Oh, we were on that. And we were like, oh, this is a bit weird now, isn't it? Why have you made it so weird? Like, we've like invigorated their sex life by giving them like 20% off a dildo or something. And then they were like, come back to ours if you want. And we were like,
did you laugh? Did you go?
I don't think so. We were like, yeah. And they were like, nah, get in.
How old were they?
Only like our age, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm really bad at ages though.
Yeah. Not old.
Yeah.
But they weren't like young kids.
Fine. Fair enough.
Jesus. Just another day in the life of being an Amy. Offered foursomes. Yeah. That's what you get for selling sex toys and shit. People are going to think you're deviants.
That's it.
We are?
Maybe we are.
Yeah, not that deviant, though, shit.
Yeah, but there's a thing. There's a way to do deviant, isn't there? I think we're all like slightly deviant. I'm definitely a deviant. Yeah. But it's just...
Tell us
your most deviant things.
This is a public episode. Fuck.
Yeah, we'll bleep it out.
No, it's alright. Don't worry. Just don't say anything.
One of Amy's stock questions is though proudest moment and most shameful. So maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, is that the question you want to ask me now?
Which have you got a story in mind of
There's
shame or deviance?
I mean, there's quite a few moments of deviance in my life, to be honest.
Let's go.
Should we go back to awkward sex stories like we used to ask?
This is a completely different question.
I know,
Just
but
give
we
him
haven't
like
had
3 questions.
answer all 3 of them.
No.
Yeah. So you want to answer which ones? Awkward sex.
Yeah.
Most shameful moment
most shameful.
And just being a little deviant.
That stinky bumhole's pretty awkward, isn't it?
It's pretty awkward one.
stinky
Stinky
Yeah, I think
bumhole,
that's the stinking bumhole's pretty. That is.
No, why? So what do you mean use all washy bumhole?
It's just
Instead of
what they do.
so
Isn't it?
just
Never
like
use toilet
a
paper.
bidet type.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Have you ever walked into
They're
a
the
restaurant
best,
and seen
them.
a bottle of water next to the toilet and you think, oh, someone's left the water? They haven't.
They haven't. They use the water to
They've
wash
been
their bum.
washing, yeah.
I understand. I just didn't.
Well,
know if
so,
that's
so,
what you meant.
like to the point where basically when I was in primary school, I once got called skid mark, and I didn't know what skid mark was. They were like,
Oh yeah, of course.
they were like,
yeah.
oh, it's when you've got a line of shit in your underwear. And I'm like, why have you got a line of shit in your underwear? And they're like, because you haven't wiped it properly. I'm like, why are you wiping? They're like, what the fuck do you do? And I talked them through the whole process of how you wash your ass.
Yeah.
And then they gave me the nickname hand swipe instead. And I was
They
like,
got
fucking
you.
hell, all right.
Not
fair
like
enough.
we're the skid marks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
hand wipe.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
It's us being the
Weird.
unhygienic ones, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? We're like,
Yeah.
look at this.
Yeah.
My nan walked in on my granddad apparently like stood on the toilet like
Oh yeah.
because no one had told him that's not how we use toilets over here.
Right.
In China they squat.
Yeah, because
so-
I've seen signs on some
In airports and
yeah,
that.
in
Yeah.
airports and
There's
stuff.
just a fella
You
stood
just
on the
stand
toilet
on
and
it.
that like that.
Also, I mean, it is logistically very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I can
squat on a
imagine.
toilet.
Yeah.
But if the poor fellow comes in and just opens it, sees like a Western toilet for the first time, goes,
What is that?
This just reminds me when I was younger. I've always been like a slightly overweight guy,
Right.
A slightly overweight kid, and there's a part of my Bangladesh side of the family where the toilets are basically holes in the ground, you know, proper toilets. The thing is, whenever I squatted, I could never stand up again. So what I would do, because there were no railings, is I just let myself roll forward. It was very difficult.
That's so
And
funny.
my cousins would fucking love it. They'd be like, "You're so English. You don't know how to."
That's
I'm like, "No, it's
so
because I'm
funny.
fat. I just don't. I just finish my shit,
so good.
wash, and just like let myself leave."
Little commando
And you
roll
were
off the
a
toilet.
choreographer. you said.
Yeah, then I became a choreographer. I was able to do it
so
then.
funny that.
Pakistani Mr.
Yeah.
Bean.
Oh, that's funny that.
I was
So
gonna. I was also gonna ask about your parents, because you find with Asian acts talk about the parents a lot. Do you touch on them?
Yeah, now and then, like I guess not. I haven't yet uncovered what's really funny about, because my parents are just so normal, right?
Yeah.
The funniest things I thought about, like my dad, for example, like he's a Pakistani guy. He came to this country when he was 15, and he's got a very slight accent. Like it's so barely, you can barely hear it. There's just some consonants that he slightly overpronounces. But when he gets angry, he turns into Danny Dyer. It's such a weird thing, because he'd be like, "Oh, Eshaan, tell your mum, stop it. Tell her she's really annoying me." And so I'm like, "Fucking hell, woman! I'm doing my name!" It's so weird. Like, what?
Yeah, that's funny.
Because he
That.
came here when he was 15. He was started driving minicabs in East End. So he's just like,
Yeah.
but most of my stories about my dad are like him being a hero. Like he used to carry a meat tenderizer in the car because like people wouldn't want to pay him.
Oh,
Like
shit.
there was one time he came home with like a massive knife mark on his neck,
Oh shit.
and I was like, "Dad, like, are you all right?" He goes, "You see the other guy?" I was like, Jesus Christ! And he had he carried bats and stuff.
Is he retired now?
He's a paramedic now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask what.
Yeah, he's a paramedic now. But
I was going to ask if is he? Do you know, like sometimes when the whole thing of Asian parents being like disappointed with you because you haven't done a certain job,
yeah,
like he's probably more disappointed that you like didn't attack a man, you just like held a microphone at him. He's like smashing people in with a hammer and that, and you're like, get away.
Yeah, I think the thing was with my mum, like my mum was definitely, because my mum's side of the family, they're all like very hoity-toity, rich, educated people.
Right.
Like to the point when I was 6 years old, I was in primary school, and they're all asking the kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like plumber, footballer, this, that. I'm 6, I go ambassador.
In our school, when we asked us that, someone said bin man.
A bin man, yeah.
Like, that's the level
just so
that my school
notorious.
was at, yeah.
Let's see.
Bin
Good
man.
pay. Good pay.
So with me, it was always like my mum's family.
Ambassador.
Well, yeah. So her ambition was always like at a really ridiculous level, but for her it was normal.
Yeah.
So the upshot of that was I always felt like I wasn't doing well enough, but I ended up doing, I guess on paper, quite impressive things. Like, you know, I started writing for various newspapers.
Yeah.
I was the youngest private banker in the city at one point.
Yeah, right.
But you did all this stuff, but I was always like, you know, when I became a private banker, my mum was like, call me when you're CEO. But that was just the way
So everyone else is like, fucking hell, you smashing it.
Yeah,
And you're
do you
like,
know what I
I'm
mean?
not a CEO yet, though.
Yeah, I'm not CEO. So it was interesting having that kind of thing. I hated parents' evenings though.
Right.
Fuck me, every time I would just wait for mum to come back and beat the shit out of me for not studying hard enough.
Yeah, just because you didn't get 100%, you only got
Yeah.
99 or something.
Yeah, so I definitely had that. Whereas my dad was a bit more like, as long as you get a degree,
Yeah, it's all good,
as long as you've
yeah.
got something to fall back on, do what you want.
That just shows you the bar. It's like my ma's made up if I ring in sick for myself in work. She's like, good lads.
That's class, yeah.
Any deviant?
Deviance.
Just wanted that,
We forgot.
I once had sex with a lady
Here we go.
at South India Key Station, which is a DLR station, but it's like in the middle of the Canary Wharf estate,
Right.
and so it's like open space.
Right.
And me and this lady were having very nice sex, and the like security of the estate kind of came round.
Right.
He was doing it, and he saw us, and then he was like, "What are you doing?" And then she said, "You can watch if you want."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That is hot."
Just come so hard.
So, and he was kind of like, I shouldn't have, but okay.
Yeah.
So he stood in the
Did you not get a say in this? Like, I don't really
honest,
want him watching
The
there.
only thing that had to say was my dick, and it was inside him. It was hard. It was loving it. So I was like, okay.
Just a comment. Watch only.
Yeah. And so we finished.
Yeah.
And she, you know,
Did
got
he
dressed.
finish?
He was. I mean, he was like, he wasn't quite touching himself, but he was definitely enjoying
May as well have
it.
been, yeah.
And she just got dressed, I got dressed, and she goes, right, as long as you both had a nice time, we just walked off. And it was one of the hottest things I've ever done
Yeah.
to this day.
I bet you he thought he was next. I
Yeah,
bet you know
yeah,
a tiny
yeah, in his
part
head
of
he
his
thought-
brain thought, I might be next here.
And he's like, oh, no.
Don't blame me,
Where are you going?
Yeah. So that's quite a
That's
deviant,
pretty
That's
devious.
pretty
Yeah,
wild,
Nice.
yeah.
let's
Yeah.
say.
I still
Well
like
done,
the
yeah.
fact that you're there going, are we all right,
Is
okay,
this-
I guess this
Yeah.
man's watching us now.
One of the most embarrassing things I did though is my dad walked in on me having sex once. And can't believe what I'm saying.
Fucking hell, son.
Go on, son! Give it to her!
Who's that slang?
Another one! I basically, we were doing doggy, and then my dad walked in, and I got so embarrassed, I got the duvet and covered myself.
Like a ghost.
And she was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
Just a little forward roll out the room.
Always like a dinosaur. Like you just like, if we stay still, he might just.
Oh man, that's funny. That
Oh man.
over yourself, just like
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Like
So
a
good.
kid in it.
Yeah,
Jumping
yeah.
into the
Yeah.
colours. How crazy was it when Kevin Hart was you doing a gig through the week? Kevin Hart showed up.
Yeah. So I was very lucky that I got a bit of an inside track on that one.
Oh, okay.
So did you know he was coming down?
Yeah.
What was he doing? Is he just in London doing stuff and then just popped in?
So my understanding is he's going on tour with, I don't know if you heard of him, a guy called Chris Rock. He's going on tour with him.
Oh, that one who just got slapped?
Yeah.
Oh, that's convenient timing, isn't it?
They're doing an hour each on tour, and he is going around. He was in Belfast the week before, I think.
Yeah, seen that picture as well. Yeah, mad.
So he basically ran out like a 50-minute set.
Just popping in, yeah.
Yeah, to try it out. And
I hope he pops down to my Monday night.
yeah. He was great. He
Yeah.
was excellent. And the thing is, I saw him at the O2 last year. Got some tickets for that, and it just wasn't good. And I don't think arenas are great for comedy.
No, too big, aren't they?
It's just too big. But he was so good. You were like, there's a reason you're Kevin Hart. Like, comedians, we can get quite precious about what's good and what isn't. But you're not touching Kevin Hart with a barge pole in terms of his entertainment value, the way he gets an audience going.
Yeah.
He was brilliant. And I was just, the fact that someone messaged me to say, yo, come down tomorrow.
Get down there.
He's like the last bastion of, like Eddie Murphy and people who are like rock star comedians.
But it made me miss Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
like every time I watch Kevin Hart, I'm like, it's like Eddie Murphy. Because Eddie Murphy was so fucking good.
Yeah, I heard the story about when he done was it Raw with the red leather?
Yeah.
And he had he went to a leather shop to buy the suits, and he got one in every colour bought, and then done a colour test to see which one looked the best on the stage.
Right.
And he was 21 or something.
Yeah, 21.
Doing all this, and then he seen the best one was the red one, and then that's why it's the red one that he wore, and that just mad.
But people watch it back now, and it's a bit like,
some of it's a bit thingy, innit? Just a bit
different. Yeah.
Still funny though. Isn't
it? Yeah. It's mad. It is mad when specials from back then do still sort of land and hold up. I watched Richard Pryor. I don't know if it was live on Sunset or something. Well, the one where he's talking about when he got burnt and all that and shooting his fucking car and all that.
Live in concert.
Yeah, and that was still just still hilarious today.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them you watch and you go, this isn't funny. It's just it's so dated and that.
If you go too far back, if you try and watch Lenny Bruce, then it's just not. I can't. I understand what he was for the time, but
at the time he's getting arrested for saying all this shit, and then it's
it says penis, and they're slamming him in car doors. And stuff like that.
Sick.
What questions have we got? We've got some questions.
I'm just going to read the first one out from Dan Johnson, and he said, "What have you done to qualify for a Scouse passport? Have you got any? Have you got any lingo? Any lingo down?"
Oh shit! I say scran a lot more.
There you
Scran.
go.
Yeah.
I say scran. I say sound a lot more.
Yeah.
And what else do I say? Scran, sound,
Kex, webs.
I don't say kex or webs.
Oh.
It sounds so weird in my
Kex and webs.
kex and webs. oh, kex and webs.
Sounds like a bank firm
Sounds like
that used to work.
Yeah.
Sounds
Sounds like a solicitor's that I would go to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going through a third divorce. I should call kex and webs.
Kex and webs.
This was
Attorneys at law.
I say sound and scran a lot more.
Yeah.
I say lad.
Yeah.
In a kind of but that's probably.
Do you say that? Do you say scran and that in London, and people are like, "What are you on about?"
Yeah. They do. But I don't give a fuck.
No.
I just like saying it. It's such a nice thing because scran is so different from dinner.
Yeah.
Dinner.
Yeah, scran can be anything. If I can have some Madison refrigerators right now and go, just a bit of scran.
Let's have a bit of scran.
Well, that's
you can go for the scran or whatever.
Really? Because I define scran as like a munch box or a takeaway.
Oh no, just food. It's just anything.
That's how I'm using it.
I'm just gonna scran this.
A bit of
scran.
Like literally just eat.
Big
I'm
fat
gonna scran it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but yeah.
Yes, I wanted to. Have you got? So, because you're privately educated, have you got a well-off family then?
I got in on an academic scholarship.
Oh.
So it was all paid for.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Was there something about your granddad or something wrote the Constitution?
Of Bangladesh. Yeah. So my mum's side of the family I'd say they're more influential than wealthy.
Right.
They weren't like new money business people. They were just like really influential. They wrote books and poetry and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So my mum's side of the family are all like powerful. That hasn't. I mean, there is quite a bit of wealth. They've got tea plantations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like my dad's side is like proper working class Pakistani.
Right. Okay.
And so it was interesting growing up in that kind of mixed household. Like
nice that you've got the best.
Yeah, best of both. Because like it's weird. I kind of I've been very lucky in that I've been able to fit into spaces across the spectrum.
That's it, yeah.
Feel
You can relate to either side.
Yeah.
You can relate to these rich bankers, but then you can also relate to working class minicab drivers.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's mad.
And then like, but it was like, you know, at my school, all the parents would have like Range Rovers, and Lexus, and my
your dad's just there with a hammer.
yeah.
So just let me move that bat so you can get in the
Out of
passenger
the way.
seat.
He had a C-Reg Honda Accord,
Yeah, right.
off gold colour. One of the best cars we've ever had.
Yeah, off gold, yeah.
Yeah, it was so tacky, man. It was great. And then he had those. I don't know if you ever saw this, but they used to have like these. Can't even call them. They used to put them on. There was a seat cover
With the
they were
beads on.
beaded. Yeah,
Callum Oakley had them.
yeah. He loved it.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking embarrassing, though. But I kind of tried my best to own it. But
Yeah.
I'd cry in the car on the way home. It was so fucking.
It's good though that, like you say though, especially coming into doing comedy and that, because you go in front of all these different audiences. It's like you've got two gears to shift into.
Yeah.
Like,
Social chameleon.
yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, and it's been nice because like when I do corporate work, for example,
That's it, yeah.
I'm very comfortable in those spaces.
And you know all the fucking lingo to do with
Yeah.
that. And then when you come to, like, to rougher places, then you can.
Yeah, so
Shit like that.
I feel very lucky that I've had this kind of upbringing, this background.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's like your mixed class.
I am
Yeah.
mixed class.
Yeah.
I've never heard that
So-
before, but that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's mixed
yeah.
class. Did you ever go back home to see family or anything like that
What, in
in
London?
Pakistan?
Oh.
As you know, London's his home.
Oh, no, sorry, I meant like go home for, you know.
that was unnecessarily bitchy. He's like, oh, fuck.
That's it now.
Help.
I'm just trying to make him squirm.
I
Just trying to make him squirm, that was all.
can feel.
I used to go to Bangladesh every year. I only went to Pakistan once in 1994, and I witnessed the making of my brother.
The making.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were.
That's an awkward sex story.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
parents were basically in one room. So we had this huge bed. It was really hot, and
I mean, don't say that.
it was very warm. The temperature was very warm.
Yeah.
And I turned round, and I have a distinct memory of seeing my dad's balls ploughing into my mum. And not
You slag.
You go say cockney when you
fucking love it, didn't ya? I had no idea what was going on because I was 9 years old, just being like, I feel like there's something I can't disturb.
Yeah.
It felt like one of those, be like, oh, mum, what are you doing? I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then I know what happened. I turned round. 9 months later, my brother's born. And then 2 years later, I'm in sex ed, and they're telling us where babies come from. And I got like PTSD shudders. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck me. I was there that time. It was the second time I saw my parents having sex.
So there was a time before then?
Yeah. I was 7.
And you're even
back
less
from
of
Okay.
even less of a
Yeah.
of an idea of what was going on.
Yeah, that time I went back into my room and burst into tears because I didn't know what was going on.
You thought you were fighting or
I
something.
was like, I think he's beating my mum.
And she's loving
Beating
it.
something up.
I fucking love it. You know?
Did you ever walk in on? your
No.
mum?
No.
My mum had it all the time.
Really?
All the time, yeah. Like, I had lots of dads. Lots of different dads. And another mum at one point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Lots of dads, but never the one. Was it?
Never a one true dad.
See, I've been on the other side of that because I once dated someone who was 15 years older than me.
Yeah.
And I was closer in age to her son than I was to her.
Right.
And there was one weekend,
How old were you at the time?
I was 30. She was 45.
45. Okay.
And her son was 19, 20, something like that.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So one weekend I was there the night before, and basically the kid was autistic, is autistic. So I come downstairs for breakfast, and he was so matter of fact about it. He was just like, I said, I said, what'd you get up to yesterday? And he said, I came home, I played FIFA. I heard you and mum have sex, and then I had some cereal, went to sleep, and I was just like,
Sandwiched it in.
Yeah.
okay.
What What was that? I had cereal and went to bed.
They'd be like, oh, fuck. I don't know how that is for him.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, do you want to play FIFA later? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll play FIFA later.
Before or after you have sex with your mum?
Just the glass next to his bed that he uses to like.
So what was that like, though? Like, did you ever hate the people that had sex with your mother?
No.
All
It was fine, don't mind it. Like, my mum, she's told me that she used to be, like, a stripper and that.
Right.
And she told me that my nan was a prostitute.
Right,
So,
okay.
pretty normal.
Yeah.
Poor
In
Nan.
mine.
It's like Richard Pryor II.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That was just normal life.
Yeah.
You don't know it's weird until you grow up and everyone else hasn't seen the mum shagging.
I've been lucky because my dad passed when I was a kid, but I've heard some noises and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I get really. I remember when I was younger, I'd get really angry if I heard any noise and I thought it was going on, so I'd start stomping around the house. Always
yeah.
be like, don't
Yeah.
you dare while I'm in this house.
That's funny. That.
And I was always in the house as I was a little fat pot mong. So they were probably like, we've got a shag. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We've got to make it happen now. The kid's never out the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of feel sorry for me. Sorry, Mum.
Yeah.
Just like you get it a bit more. Stopped it all the time, banging on the ceiling. Like,
Hey, stop that! Going spraying them with stuff. Hey, get off it!
Hey, Andrew Boyle's
hilarious.
got a little task for us if we wanna. If you're up for it as well, Eshaan, if we can both give him one word that he has to slip in to his set tonight.
Eshaan, not me either.
Eshaan.
Oh
No, you.
I?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, it's you as well. Sorry, yeah.
Oh.
I was meant to think of this. Can we go Mr. Blobby?
Mr. Blobby?
Yeah.
I get that.
You got to throw him in somewhere. Let me have a think. I want to come back.
And then how what's the upshot? Like, if you do it, what happens? If you don't do it, what happens?
High five.
If you do it?
Yeah.
And if you don't do it?
Kick
in the
Yeah,
bollocks.
I was going to say that, yeah. So.
Gotta watch it.
You'd just be letting our patrons down.
Yeah.
Who's there tonight?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's coming tonight.
So
Andrew,
It's,
yeah.
it,
Is he? Okay,
it
fine.
qualifies
Wants
you
to
for a
see it.
Scouse passport, actually.
Scouse.
Oh, that'd be funny.
It's
Give
the
him like a really
initiation.
Scouse word to say.
Yeah.
Jag. If you could you,
Jag.
if you call something jag for me, which is like fake.
Yeah.
How are you spelling it? JARG.
I never know how to spell it.
My head went. I was like a beautiful mind. I just spelled
See, all the
jag.
things. And that woman where she's like, all the equations going past her.
Butterfly in the sky.
I imagine it's JARG,
That's what I'm gonna go with.
Jag.
Yeah.
but you don't
And
pronounce the R really.
You use jag in a sentence for me, so I know
That's
the concept.
jag.
Them webs.
Them webs are jag.
As in good, bad, shit.
Not like blag. Not
Fake.
good.
I
Oh,
feel
why'd
gazy.
you point at my webs? They're all right.
It was just a.
All right, fine.
Oh, yeah.
So jag means shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Knock
Fake.
off.
Yeah. Knock off. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. All right.
Fugazi.
So,
Fugazi.
which one do you want to get, Mr. Blobby and jargon, or do you just want
Yep.
to get jargon?
Jag.
Yeah, but you could literally go on and go out like a jag, Mr. Blobby, in this.
Oh shit! Don't give him mine.
You took it away
Too
from
easy,
me.
though. It was well too easy.
Bloody hell!
We'll
Started.
do something
I'm going
else.
to do it anyway.
Okay, that's fine.
It's too fucking late.
I'll do it as well.
Yeah. What, you say you look like a jag, Mr. Blobby?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this?
When you're
Oh, this is
introducing him,
weird. Yeah.
be like, it doesn't
Yeah.
look like a jag, Mr. Blobber. And then you'll swing someone else.
Yeah, we can do that.
Go on.
Dan Roberts was through in. Would you rather have a cock for a nose or arseholes for eyes?
Definitely cock for nose. You
Yeah,
can't have
yeah.
arseholes for eyes.
you can still see
Well-
out them.
No.
Can you though?
You look, like with a, just style it out.
Do you
Like
poo out them?
Proboscis monkeys have had cocks for noses.
My
for a
nose
long
doubles
time.
up as a cock sometimes.
What do you mean?
Sometimes, like, when they're sitting on your face, you can just,
Yeah.
like,
Swipe it like a credit card.
maneuver it so that she's
Push
like,
it in.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
works as a. No? You know
It's
the
like,
sex?
it's like that thing on a vibrator, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the little bit on a vibrator.
Yeah.
That's essentially,
Essentially.
Isn't it?
So I've had someone sit on my face and my nose has been very red afterwards, and I know that they've rubbed their clitoris vigorously on my nose.
Just rode your nose.
I mean, like, I mean, you probably get more work with a dick for a nose.
Yeah.
You could go into some mad porn shoots and that kind of stuff.
What would the benefit be? Would you say eyes?
Arseholes for eyes.
I can't. No, you can't.
What,
have
did you
that.
shit out of your eyeballs?
Yeah. Even if you didn't, it's just no. No.
Yeah, it's not ideal, that is
Yeah,
it?
cock for a
It's
moment.
just a cock, not balls as well.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
teabagging yourself
Yeah.
all the time. Fuck that.
But isn't that just like an elephant?
Proboscis monkey.
What? Oh, yeah.
Or you could just wear shades forever. You could just be like,
It's like-
you could be like the guy out of X-Men. And then only when the moment of
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you sure you love me? Just-
Which-
So
like when you're trying to get like a kid's misbehaving, you're like, and the kid's like, just stops
It's like,
crying.
oh, I thought I could smell something. I just thought you were black.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
Did we
It's
do
a safe space.
most shameful?
Is it? No.
Did we do most shameful or no?
No. Do that.
I think my most shameful moment was actually in Edinburgh at the Fringe Festival.
When
I-
was this?
This was 2018, I'm going to say.
Okay.
And I'd been drinking and doing MDMA for the best part of like 6 days in a row. It's too much. And about 10 minutes before my show, my body just let go.
Right.
So I basically shat myself.
Skip mark.
Yeah, hello. Like some really wet, disgusting
Horrible time.
innards just let go. Like I was on my way.
You're on the way to the show.
I was on my way to do my show.
So it wasn't long between then and show time.
So I'm like, oh man. And as I was climbing up the stairs, there was like trails of shit.
Oh no.
God.
So, and I could see and what was annoying was as I was walking, they were queuing up to get into my show.
You're walking past with a trail of
I was
Shitty
walking
pants.
I was walking past them like, we're so excited to see you. I was like, so I ran into the toilet and I was like, right, get rid of the boxers. The boxers soaked up quite a bit, but my jeans were they were in a pretty bad state.
Yeah.
So I washed as best as I could what I could.
Yeah.
Had to go commando.
Yeah.
The idiot part of my brain went, okay, the bits that are like more solid, why didn't you use your belt to scoop them out?
Okay. Are you sifting for gold or something?
Scoop that bit out. Then I was like, shit, I can't use the belt now.
Yeah.
So the belt and the boxers, I kind of just hid behind one of the toilets, gone commando. My jeans are like wet at the back,
Yeah.
stinking to fuck. I went on stage, did the show, but because I'd lost all sensitivity, I hadn't realised that the back of my jeans had kind of just slid down throughout the course of me doing the show.
Yeah.
So then I turned round and everyone went, way! And I'm like, what's going on? My whole arse was open for the whole audience as I turned around.
Did you not feel?
I just, because I was in
Your
show
arse is
mode.
out?
Yeah.
And the
you
belt.
weren't thinking about it.
I
Yeah.
just wasn't thinking. So that was pretty shameful.
That's
You know what's funny? That audience probably all thought that like that was the end of the show.
yeah.
Like, oh, we went to Eshaan. Oh, it was funny when he gets his ass out at the end. Isn't he? Like, no.
No.
He didn't do that. It stinks of shit in there as well. It's funny that, isn't it? It's like, oh.
To just stand out.
Kind of. I was just like, because that was the show that I talked about teabagging my mum.
Right.
All right, yeah.
So I can't remember what I said. I said something about
Yeah.
you know, what PG asked or something, and then left. But it was pretty bad. I feel really
Yeah,
ashamed.
it's a
of
bad
myself.
one, that one.
That's the most Edinburgh Fringe story
Yeah.
I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Shit myself on my way to my gig.
Yeah.
After trail
People
of
probably
shit,
thought it was.
like a dirty snail.
Yeah.
It was. It was at the point where I was scraping the shit out of my jeans with my belt, where I was like, "Have I made a good decision
No.
with my life?"
Yeah.
It seems been a normal situation in a show. You could go, oh, listen, we got to push it back half an hour. I got to go and get changed and wash my ass. But it's the Edinburgh Fringe. It's like, no, the show rolls on,
Someone
baby.
rolls on, baby.
Yeah. Someone in after you, yeah. Yeah, that's a bad one, that. Not fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my story of my first time on acid?
Yeah.
Oh man, because I still think about it. Like it was weird what happened afterwards. So basically, I did acid for the first time. I was out in public. I should have done it in public. On the way home on the tube, I could basically see everyone's pain demon.
Right.
So every person, they had a little demon next to them that had their most the worst insecurity and deepest, darkest pain in them.
Okay.
So I was on the tube, and there was a woman in front of me, and I said to my mate, we need to leave because I can see everyone's pain demon. He goes, what do you mean? And I said, well...
What a mad sentence. Imagine your mate saying that to you.
Yeah.
We need to get off this train. I can see everybody's pain demon.
demon, right. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, the woman in front of me, she's worried that her husband is having an affair with his secretary. And she looked at me and went, how do you know?
No.
No way.
Burst into tears, gets off at Bond Street, and I'm like, we need to fucking get off.
So what did her pain demon look like for you to know that?
So her pain demon was basically like, it was an ugly thing, but it was like a woman with blonde hair.
Mm.
And she kept saying to me, I'm fucking her husband. But it was like, if you imagine a gremlin. You imagine like a gremlin with like bad lipstick smudged all over, mascara, but like crazy wild blonde hair.
Yeah. I'm shagging her husband.
Yeah. And like she was like a demon, like grey skin, looking like Dobby the house elf, but like trying to be all sexy.
Yeah.
She's like, I fucked her husband.
That's
just looking at me.
Mad.
That's mad.
Honestly, so that's how I knew.
Yeah.
She burst into tears, runs off.
How loud did you say it? As well? Hey, husband, shagging me.
So, basically, so if you're my best mate, right, you're there. So I'm like, mate, we need to get on the train. I can see everyone's pain demons. He's not, what the fuck do you mean? I'm like, her husband is what? She's worried her husband having an affair with the secretary.
And she just like...
And I looked at her like that.
No way. That's mad.
Right? So then, that was weird enough as it is anyway.
Yeah.
We got to Mile End Station. At Mile End Station, I thought that I could see the station we needed to go to was Bow Road, and I thought there was like a path that led us directly. So I'm heading onto the tracks.
Yeah. With the train tracks?
Yeah, I'm heading onto the tracks thinking it's a path, and my mate was like, no, come this way. That was hairy. But this was the bit which, even to this day, I still think about. We went to McDonald's to get some food, and my mate thought it would be really funny that instead of ordering chips, we ordered a carrot bag.
Yeah, hilarious. I'm laughing already.
Right, yeah?
Laughing already.
You're like, this is going to be hilarious, right? So he orders the carrot bag, and then we come up with this story about how in McDonald's HQ, for the first time ever, someone's ordered a carrot bag.
Oh, yeah, like a thing's just gone off.
It sends everything into meltdown, so we're acting out the scenario, blah, blah, blah. And then we're like, oh, wouldn't it be so sad if they didn't have a carrot bag? So 2 minutes later, the woman goes, order number 60, there's a problem with your order. So we're thinking, oh, it's always the carrot bag, right? They couldn't grow it on the farms or whatever. So she goes, there's a problem with your banana milkshake. And for some reason, we thought that was fucking hilarious, right? Then, as we're walking up and down Mile End High Road, I remembered there was a Kazakhstani football team called Karabag.
Okay.
Right? So I said, how funny would it be if we went to Karabag with carrot bags?
Yeah.
We're thinking it's the funniest shit ever because we're on acid, right? Buildings are wavy, but we're thinking about carrot bags. Blah, blah, blah. Do all this thing. I go home that night, and I have basically, I'm trying to go to sleep, but I basically had a hard-on, and I didn't know what it was.
Well, you didn't know why you had it, or you didn't know what?
I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
Right? So I was so confused, it looked like a tree. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm trying to like... You know how like you scaled it? You know they show people scaling the side of buildings?
Yeah.
I was scaling the side of my bedroom wall trying to escape from my own erection.
That's a mad sentence.
Right, just trying to be like, ah, it's still there! Why is it? Why is it following me?
Why is this front tail?
That's mad.
Then I got back into bed. I grabbed hold of my dick and cried myself to sleep because I didn't know what it was. But
That's insane. Go on.
This is the bit that's insane. A week later, I'm doing a corporate show for some like accountancy firms. And the woman who books me, she goes, oh, there's this lady that wants to speak to you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I was talking to the lady and she was quite hot, had a bit of a flirt, and she had a bit of an accent. So I said to her, oh, where are you from? And she goes, oh, I'm from Kazakhstan. And I'm like, oh, well, do you know, my favourite football team is Karabag. She's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And then I told her this whole story. I didn't tell you anything about the acid, but I was like, do you know what? Me and my friend have got this really stupid dream of taking carrot bags to Karabag. We think it'd be fun. And she goes, I can arrange that. And I go, really? Why? And she goes, my dad's the chief executive of Carabao Football Club.
Fuck off.
That's odd.
How fucking weird is that?
You just
A
need to
week
do it.
later.
Have you done
So
it?
no, and then I said, are you, what? So I was thinking, am I still on acid?
Yeah.
That's mad.
What is happening? And her thing was, she goes, oh, I'm happy for you to do that, but you're going to have to, there's got to be a two-way deal here. So what's that? And she goes, well, you come to one of my flats, and we have sex.
Yeah, just to give them a carrot bag.
And I just felt,
Put a carrot in her bag.
hey! And then I was
Carry on, Phil.
I just got too scared
Yeah.
and overwhelmed because I didn't know what was happening. Because it was, it's such an unlikely thing to happen that I got confused about the borders between reality and what was the trip.
Right, yeah.
It was definitely a week later.
Yeah.
So I text my mate. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Are we still on this thing? Where are we? And he's like, mate, go and shag her and let's go to Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
Not happening.
Go and put your tree inside her.
Yeah.
and then-
So that reminds me of the weirdest
Eshaan and
thing.
his mate like that on a plane just smiles. We're making it happen. It's happening.
It's just like I wouldn't think I was good enough at sex to warrant a trip to Kazakhstan as a reward for
Mate,
it. Do you know what I
one of the
mean?
weirdest things that ever
You
happened.
must be smooth as fuck for it to be like, listen, not only can I get you a flight to
So what's mad? Yeah, the way he's gone. My mate said we say carabag and carabag. And
that's the hottest thing I've ever heard.
me now.
You're like, oh, this is what I've always wanted.
That's mad.
That's so
But the
good.
pain demons thing
Yeah.
is really weird.
Isn't that weird?
Did you see any others?
Yeah. Every single person.
So what was some
Do you-
others? Can you
Do
remember?
you think that might be your special ability? If you
I
tapped into it.
I don't know. Like all my life, people have said to me, I'm very good at like spotting when someone's a bit off.
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest.
Clairsentient. That's what that is.
Is that what that is? Oh, well, that's scary.
Can you remember any others? What any others?
Yeah,
look
there
like,
was
or-
there was one person who had like loads of gambling debt.
right.
And basically it was like
Just little
What,
things
did
sat at a fruit
yeah.
machine.
That's what I imagine. You know,
Little hut check.
you know, like a Streptils advert where it's like, get the gremlin off your
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm imagining.
there was another one who was like, I think that there was this woman and her like gremlin was telling me that her sister was in hospital with something.
That's mad.
But all these every single person, like even if they weren't holding hands, they were like holding the arm of the person they're with.
So they're attached to it in some way.
And they were just like looking at me constantly. Like even when I was going up the escalator, they'd kind of find a way to look at me and just tell me. So there was the cacophony of noise from all these demons just telling me what was wrong with the person they're with.
That
Like
sounds
what their
crazy, that.
deepest, darkest.
Did you have one?
No, that was what was weird.
His was probably his mate taking him for
Yeah.
carrot bags.
This is the crazy thing. So my mate goes, "Oh, can you see my pain demon?" I said, "Yeah," and he goes, "What is that?" I said, "Well, it's your wife."
We haven't got enough carrots.
Yeah, I said, "It's your wife,"
Yeah.
and he goes, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So they've been together for 10 years. 3 months after that, they got divorced.
No.
Shit. It's like the scariest Pokemon ever. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's got
Do you know what I
like
mean?
horrible sad Pokemon.
Fucking hell! So
Yeah,
that
that's
was
crazy,
like,
that.
Do mad? What's mad?
just give me some acid. We'll find
Yeah,
out. I
let's
don't
go.
know.
I
Do that
think
on
it'd be
Patreon.
worth doing acids again to see if that happens again.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah.
But it seems quite intense.
Yeah, but
Everything else was great. The colours were great. The buildings were all wavy. All the buildings were like, outside a used car place, you get those.
Yeah.
every whackable, inflatable, arm
Yeah.
flailing tube man.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of
Every
those.
whackable.
Yeah,
Right.
that was fun. But the pain demon thing was fucking.
Yeah, that's a
weird.
mad one, that,
That's
isn't it?
insane.
I find it weird how you can enjoy acid and then not take to weed. Is it? Do you think it just makes it a bit too much like?
Weed's like more of a downer. isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I'm not very good at inhaling.
Oh, you can eat it.
Some edibles on the go.
Oh my god, when I did edibles for the first time,
There we go.
Jesus fucking Christ! I went to Amsterdam, never did edibles in my life. I had half a space cake, nothing's happening. Had another half, nothing's
The
happening.
danger. That's where the danger
Danger.
comes.
Got halfway through the next half,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I am absolutely fucked. And the worst thing was, I got the giggles.
Yeah.
but it was giggles to the point of pain.
Yeah.
And I wasn't enjoying it, but it was just making me
Just
laugh
can't
so
stop
much.
laughing, yeah.
I was just crying, and my stomach was cramping, and everything was making me giggle.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd never want to laugh again in my life.
When all your cheeks fuck up and that.
Yeah. And I said to my mate, mate, I never want to laugh again. I just burst into a laughing fit for 15 minutes. And it was just like one of the did not,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
edibles
very
are
dangerous.
good for people who can't smoke, but like you can go too hard on them and then it puts people off.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we still have edibles and I go, oh my god, I'm on the edge here. Like we've had too much of them. But I know now in my head that it's the weed that's making you feel like
Right,
that.
gotcha.
You're not dying. Whereas if it's the
Yeah.
first time ever doing it, people are like, I'm dead, I'm dying.
Yeah, this is,
I need to ring an ambulance or
Yeah.
whatever. Oh yeah, you rang an
Oh
ambulance on
yeah,
yourself.
didn't you?
yeah. So I told Callum.
I was like 14.
I was about 14, and there was like my mum used to smoke weed, which still does heavily. And I snuck into her stash and rolled like a little joint. I was 14, smoked it, called an ambulance, thought I was dying of a heart attack. At 14.
Gee, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so. See, it's funny, isn't it? Because like I've really taken to drugs, and I remember when I was in Edinburgh, I did balloons for the first time, and there were loads of people who were with me who were like, "I want to do it the way he's doing it."
Right.
Because apparently I'd get really monged out for about
Yeah,
25 seconds, having the time of my life,
Yeah.
and I'm back again, and I don't know what it is. It's like I've never ever felt worried. My brain doesn't work that way.
Right. Okay.
So even the pain demons or whatever I see, it was a difficult experience, but it was still quite enlightening and quite, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I've thought about doing ayahuasca, but I'm
Doesn't
scared.
it just kill your brain cells like balloons and nitrous oxygen? Doesn't it just fuck
Probably.
with your brain?
No, he's got some to
Probably
spare
all
though.
does.
hasn't he?
Yeah.
What do you believe afterlife wise?
This is a great question. It's something I've really grappled with, because I grew up believing in an afterlife. You know,
So you're full Muslim.
yeah. I used to like lead the call to prayer,
Yeah.
pray 5 times a day. When I did Ramadan, I did it like proper intensely. I'd only break my fast with like 4 dates and a glass of milk, the way the Prophet Muhammad would.
Right.
You know, and it was a real thing for me. Now I can't. I don't know how you feel about with your dad, but I can't believe that my mum, after I buried her, that was it.
Yeah.
It
Right.
feels like that can't be it.
Mm.
And I think there's an energy that exists in me, and if I ever have children, that will exist in them that come from our ancestors and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Okay.
So I think that there isn't really a heaven or hell, really. But I think that we just subsume the energies of the people that go before us.
Right. Okay.
Basically, I think that's where I'm at.
Have you done mushrooms?
No,
No.
I haven't. I bought some in Amsterdam, but never got around to doing them.
Right.
The
Okay.
truffle things,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never got around to
I think a lot of people when they do them type of like mushrooms or DMT, that's when they
Yeah,
start
DMT I've heard
getting
about.
them afterlife type. Like we're all
Yeah.
just a little bit of light that goes back to the big bit of light when you're done and all that. Like
I believe in energies and the universe being the big energy where we all come from.
Right.
This is a bit of a silly question, but I was going to ask you like Christian Catholic heaven in my image is like all dogs go to heaven, like white clouds and halos,
gold gates and all that.
Yeah. Like what is Muslim heaven in
Pretty much the same. It's an Abrahamic faith, right? So they're just
Yeah.
like, it is a paradise
Yeah.
of everything you could ever want and need and whatever.
I don't know why I've got I don't know why it'd be different as well. I just had the all dogs go to heaven. I think I was like, surely it must be different.
Yeah, like
But
you
there's
describe it in a different way or
Yeah,
whatever.
but there's the thing that with religion I've always found inconsistent is, you know, let's say you've been a good person and your heaven is fucking anal constantly and getting pegged.
Yeah.
Is that happening? In this
Well,
Garden of
technically it
Eden?
should, shouldn't it?
It should, right?
Yeah.
In this Garden of Eden paradise.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe in your human experience, that's when you do all the anal and the pegging.
Pegging,
Yeah,
right.
surely if you're an angel, you can't be like a fucking
Ooh,
like an
peg
angel
me.
who gets
Yeah.
on it on the weekends and
Yeah,
that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You're like
yeah.
you've got to be angelic.
Come on, oh, you've got
You can't
Pino's
be a
wonky
kinky
and all
angel,
that. You're
can
like, fucking hell, I'm feeling rough today.
A kinky angel, instead of a halo, got a choker.
Yeah.
Surely you must let that stuff go. You know what I mean? You can't be like, what? No
Mm,
cocaine at all.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
no,
Are you
it's
kidding
not
me?
it.
It's not a bit, sorry.
On your point about the light thing, I mean, Islam says that no matter how long you live on this earth, it amounts to one day,
Yeah.
and your afterlife is your full existence.
Yeah.
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 And so everything you do on this earth, leads up to that point of you being in the afterlife and you want to get into heaven. And very early in my Islamic teaching, I always questioned this, which was like, why would I do stuff for a reward? Why would my goodness be dependent on a reward in the afterlife? Surely it should be a goodness
on what you're doing now.
In and of itself. You know, people often, Muslim characters say to me, you know, if you do this, brother, you will get this in heaven. And you're like, well, that doesn't seem like a good reason to do it. It feels like my relationship with God is incumbent on him being able to provide me something. Yeah,
like you're only being good to people because you're like, oh, well, hopefully I'll get this reward. Whereas like you should just be good to people regardless of a reward or whatever.
And so I found that quite difficult.
Did you ever get shit for not being a strict Muslim?
All the time.
From family or just random?
Not so much from family. One thing that's been interesting is because I'm so open about my lack of religiosity, and also like I've got a dog, I like drag shows, this kind of stuff.
You're not allowed dogs?
Well, my uncle refuses to come over while I've got the dog. He thinks it's unclean. Islam is really obsessed with the idea of cleanliness, which I kind of understand because dogs are not fucking clean.
No. Yeah.
So
but they are if you clean them, though.
Yeah, they are.
If you keep them clean, they can be clean.
They can be clean, but it's a lot of effort.
It's just unhygienic having a dog in the house.
Yeah, and so the places you pray, they won't be pure with the dog. Anyway, some people think. But my Asianness has been questioned repeatedly because of my lack of faith. Right. So when I was on the Asian Network, I was a presenter on the Asian Network, and I got sacked for not being Asian enough.
That's mad, isn't it?
And the reason was because I sound like this.
Yeah.
And, on Instagram, there's stories of me drinking and with the dog and stuff. And people are like, oh, it's not connecting with the Asian audience. I'm like, well, there's more than one way to be Asian.
Yeah.
And there are other comics, who I won't name, but also a lot of people who will be like, oh, you're a coconut. And what's frustrating about it is...
What's that mean, white on the inside?
White on the inside, brown on the outside. And it's very bizarre what behaviours they consider to be white. Because it's a behaviour thing.
Yeah.
Because English was the fourth language I learned to speak. I was a Bollywood dance choreographer.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly proud of my Asianness.
Yeah.
But even, since doing Have a Word, people will be like, oh, you're trying to be a white guy on the podcast. I'm like, no, I'm not at all. I'm just myself. They're like, oh, you're allowing them to be racist or whatever. I'm like, again, that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and allow you to be racist.
Yeah, you know where it's coming from. Like, you know what the intent behind it. So, don't you? Like,
so the short answer to your point is yes, because I'm not practicing at all, it's questioned just my identity. But also I've had death threats. I had a guy turn up with a knife at a gig.
From like Muslim people?
Yeah.
Muslim people. I was panicking then. I was like,
Muslim people.
Yeah. I love coconuts.
Yeah, coconuts are great.
So delicious. He threatened you with a knife just because you wasn't like religious enough?
Basically, I had some gags and he was like, if you do that again, I'm going to stab you. I'm like, no, you're not. And then you turn up the next
How's that a good Muslim?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. What?
How's that being a good Muslim though? I'm going to stab you.
But no, well, again, it's justification people have. He will think that he's defending the honour of his faith.
Yeah. So he's doing a good thing by having you off,
Yeah, there are some sects of Islam that believe you defend your faith.
Right, okay.
Against any form of attack, be it verbal or whatever.
So is that how, like, I know this is going to go down a bit of a dark road, but is that how it leads to, like, extremism and stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was like the Charlie Hebdo thing and stuff. It was like
100%.
Cartoons.
Really, yeah, 100%. It is.
So, and to defend that, it's like, well, I'm going to just go and fucking kill this all, and then...
Sometimes I get it. Sometimes I get it because the stuff that, 1999 was the last time it was, like, cool to be Asian. You had Goodness Gracious Me, you had Nitin Sawhney on the screens, Prince Nassim Hamid was boxing... 9/11 happened, and suddenly there was just this complete shift. And even now,
like turned to fear more than anything.
Completely turned into fear. And even now, and I talk about it on stage sometimes, people are still quite scared of Muslim terrorists. It seems to be a thing. Even though, if you've seen Adam, he talks about how they've actually letting themselves down by the kind of attacks. It's completely true. And I sometimes feel quite sad about it. I feel like
lost that top spot.
They're like Man United now. It's a bit shit these days. But that is it. There is a section within the Muslim community that inherently believe that the world is attacking Islam. And if if you spend 5 minutes thinking in their shoes, you're like, well, yeah, I can see why you might think that, because something happened in Ukraine.
Yeah.
There's all this positive attitude towards refugees. And you sit there thinking, well, what happened to the Yemenis? What happened?
Yeah. Syrian and all that. Like,
Yeah, and it's very easy to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And I sometimes get angry with it, being like, why is the Muslim thing?
Yeah.
Because there's 1.7 billion of them.
Yeah.
And a few of them turn up to do some terrorism.
Yeah.
And then 1.7 billion are 1.7 billion of them are just fucking it's
instantly terrorists.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's just it's mad.
Yeah. So
do you think that had anything to do with obviously there was racism in Ukraine with letting
black people out. Yeah.
And stuff. But with it being so what I don't know the
ingrained.
No. Basically Ukrainians were posting what was happening on TikTok and that, and I haven't seen that before, like a war being posted.
Well,
all over
that might just be
TikTok.
because of your algorithm, but like, you know, Osama bin Laden's execution was live tweeted.
Yeah.
The world knew about it because it was
yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Syrians and Yemenis and all these people, they use social media, but in the Western world, they're not. You might not see it because your algorithms don't pick up those people.
Yeah,
Is
right.
that okay? Is that
So
right?
I saw loads. I see so much stuff coming out of Yemen all the time. So I've got Yemeni friends and Saudi, so I see it. And what will happen is, and this is the thing with social media, right? Is because of certain algorithms, you're not going to see the conversations. People, you won't see the pictures.
Yeah.
Polarized.
Yeah. And so, the day it's like three days, maybe 4 days ago. There was a 4-hour drop of bombs in Yemen that were British and American bombs.
Yeah.
For 4 hours constant. And people were live tweeting the bombs going off.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Because I know people.
And it's not on the news or anything. Not even on social media. In your algorithm, it's not on the news.
No.
Like.
Yeah.
And so if you're a Muslim person, you already feel ostracized.
Yeah, definitely.
You see that. You start thinking, well, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Something needs to happen. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm not saying I want to be a terrorist. But sometimes I look at the state.
Bust through the door now. Get on the ground.
But sometimes I look at the state of the United Kingdom. I look at the things that Boris and everybody's done.
Yeah.
And a part of me really wants to take up arms.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I want to slap people.
Yeah.
This violent inclination.
If people weren't already gonna, edge toward extremism, then a lot of shit has happened recently that might push a young.
It takes one extra thing that makes you go, fuck this. I've had enough now.
I've lost. You lost. There are times where I'm like, I just want to punch Boris.
Yeah.
And you can see how someone might just get to that point of just wanting to do
Especially when all day, every day, they're getting bombarded with say you're on forums or whatever, and there's people going, these white people doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, and then you see it and you're like, they are, aren't they? And you can see why it just push people in a certain way.
Imagine you give them one of them acid, they see some pain demons and they're going to fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Mad. What a mad little conversation we went on.
What section that was?
Got quite serious.
Yeah.
Got quite serious towards the end.
Sorry.
No, it's good, man. It's a conversation, isn't it? I like it.
I was gonna go, you got a favourite terrorist attack at all?
I mean,
9/11's the classic.
9/11 is like the OG.
Hack that though, innit? Hack.
Yeah, it's quite. Eshaan Akbar over here. I would say I think 9/11 was pretty good. I thought the Mumbai one was pretty good. That was quite dramatic.
good.
I don't even remember the one in Mumbai. They had 7 terrorists.
No, my algorithms only show.
They walked into one of the most beautiful hotels in Mumbai, and just it was like a Call of Duty game. They went in and just shot loads of people and just ran around, and people were trying to. And I quite like that because I said this about Muslim terrorists. Muslim terrorists are doing terrorism on super ultra hard mode, right? Because if you kill yourself, you're done. That's it.
Yeah.
If you're a Hindu terrorist, you can just respawn again and again. That is bullshit. That is not real terrorism.
That's funny. That
You got to believe in it.
Yeah. That's funny. That. Do you have a little 2-minute break?
Yeah, I need a little wee.
Go on.
I do believe we're sponsored by Manscaped.
Oh, And you know when I'm prepping my balls to dip them in household condiments, I'm using Manscaped products. We just received our performance package, and including in that, you get the Lawnmower 4.0, which is this nifty little shaver. Very lightweight. It's waterproof. Got a little light on it so you can really see what's going on down there. You also get Crop Reviver Ball Toner. Give your balls a little spritz, make them smell nice. And you also get some anti-chafing ball deodorant. Look at that. Lovely balls. I'm hairy up here. I'm smooth as a seal from the neck down.
Ladies, we go through so much grooming, from eyebrows to eyelashes, hair and nails. The very least your fella can do is tidy up his horrible scraggly ball sack. If you're looking for a chunky gift for your man, look no further than Manscaped.
Join the 4 million men worldwide who have reduced odour, their chance of ingrown hairs, nicks and cuts on the ball bag. Get yourself a performance package today. Use the code TMHC20 at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Plus, you get a little gift with it. These anti-chafing underpants. Very soft.
They feel amazing.
And you also get this bag, which is nice and smooth, like your bag will be when you use the Lawnmower 4.0.
You know, if you're looking to buy a gift for your dad, now I don't know much about dads, but from what I see in the films, they've got hairy noses and hairy ears. Well, in that case, the Weed Whacker. Perfect for those hairy crevices.
Get on it. Manscaped.com. Use code TMHC20 at checkout. 20% off. Free shipping. Your balls will thank you. Your missus will thank you. Your fella will thank you.
Your dad'll thank you.
Your dad will thank you. Go get it. We love yous.
Love you.
Back to the show.
Bye.
Nice one. Hey everyone, before we go into this week's episode, I want to tell you about Munch Tame. Munch Tame is the UK's #1 smoke shop. So you want to hit up them for any skins, grinders, blunt wraps. They sell CBD, flour, raws, lighters.
Blazy Susans,
Them.
rolling trays.
We've got a little promo code. It's Mild High UK. If you use that, you get £2 off your order. Munchtame.co.uk. Support the podcast. Enjoy the rest of the show. Love yous.
Take your Saki station.
Is there any more? Have we got any more questions there?
No, mate.
No, that's right.
I thought there was loads.
There was 2 from Andrew Boyle, but we did the thing where we want him to name a random little word in the set.
Okay.
And then it was about Eshaan moving to Liverpool. He's already covered that.
Okay.
Kind of.
Right, yeah.
Which is sick that you're going to move here eventually. I hope you do.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I'm just considering all my options.
Yeah.
Really.
Let's push him.
Yeah.
Make him.
Should we do pros and cons?
Pros and cons of living in... Yeah, go on then. You tell me, because you're from...
We're well nicer up here.
Right.
Big pro. You do one.
I don't know. Pints are cheaper.
Cheaper.
Yeah, there you got a
Yeah, you
huge
could
one.
get a well bigger house up here.
Oh yeah, you can
well
get
bigger.
That's free.
like £3. Get a decent
Yeah.
house.
That's true.
That's free. What else?
Everyone loves you from other words.
Everyone
Right?
loves
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
People hailing you when you walk down the streets.
Yeah.
Drugs are very accessible.
Yeah. I imagine that's
They would
quite
be in
accessible in London as well, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, have we got any good food places? Probably not
Yeah,
as good as London.
Loads. What would you say, like the crowd's dead different down in London to here? When you, or do you find it
Are
hard
the
to gauge
women-
that because
are
a
the
lot of
women
people?
better up here. Yep. Yeah.
Oh. Well, like I don't know if you can gauge it as well now because most of the gigs you've been doing in Liverpool, everyone seems to know you.
Yeah, no. So basically, what I love performing in what one might regard working class towns and cities.
Yeah.
So Newcastle, Glasgow, Liverpool,
Mm.
to a lesser extent Bristol, my favourite cities to perform in.
Right.
Manchester is probably on the Bristol side of the spectrum.
Yeah. Because Manchester's a weird one. You can either get like a rough working class type crowd, or you can get like a young woke uni student type crowd.
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna get in Manchester.
Yeah, the places I hate are Brighton.
Yeah. Is this all because it's too like...
Yes.
Too woke.
It's too much. It's just too fucking much. Brighton and Islington in North London and some parts of West London.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm pretty much happy anywhere else. But my app, whenever it's in my diary, a Liverpool day, like Liverpool, Newcastle,
You're always looking
Glasgow,
forward
I'm
to
like,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
They're going to be great because they're up for a laugh.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
goes. You can say whatever and it's fine. We're all trying to have a nice time.
Yeah, it's very rarely gigs round in Liverpool where you get someone like offended.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And also what I quite like, I think, also is if they think you're shit, they just won't listen.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in those, weirdly, in like posher places, they feel the need to tell you that they think you're shit.
Yeah, right, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Like they're just like,
They've
because
got
they're used
a
to
heightened
complaining.
self-importance.
Yeah.
Because they're used to complaining about like sending something back if they don't like it, and I mean not
Pretty Patel, come on.
but you know, like complaining to like a waiter about food that's bad, like in Liverpool and that. From what I've seen, people will moan, but after they finish.
Yeah, fine.
Oh yeah,
Like I had that when I was a waiter when I was like younger. I went up to these 2-hour women, plates spotless, and I was like, "Oh, was everything alright?" No, it was horrible. I was just so hungry, I had to eat it. And when you had the curry and there's not one bit of rice left on the plate, like how horrible was it?
Yeah.
Like acting like they were doing a fucking bush tucker trial or
I
something.
thought you meant because I actively all the time, I'll be halfway through and I'll go, this burger's ridiculous. Like I can't even eat it. It's too big. Them chips.
Yeah.
And as they're walking over, they go, everything okay? I go, lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you
always
so
the way.
much.
Yeah,
Spot
it's
on,
like
yeah. Getting your haircut was it one in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
I did that the other day. I was getting my haircut. I said to my barber, I was like, oh, did you go for Paddy's Day? And he went, no. I was like, oh, why? And he was like, why would I go out and celebrate a day that hate the English and their country hates our country? And I was like,
Yeah, because
like Guinness.
you tried to
Yeah,
take
but-
over the land.
Yeah.
But also, I thought, the whole like, I'm not English, I'm Liverpudlian, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought that would trump.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
must have
mean,
been a
like,
president.
yeah. I mean, like, obviously, a lot of Liverpool people descend from Irish coming over and
Right,
anyway.
yeah.
But I think as soon as you go to Ireland, they're like, you're from England.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if like you are like, I've got an Irish name, my family Irish somewhere
Yeah.
from Liverpool. But if we went to Derry and I was like, oh my God, I don't feel comfortable here.
My
Like,
granddad's from Ireland. We moved over there and they cut the brakes on our car.
yeah.
Was it I ended up in a safe house?
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me more detail about this story, unless you've already said it before.
Yeah, I have said it before, but basically, so my mum went over to Ireland for a 40th and met a man in a pub, and they decided to get married, and she moved us over there, never met the man, and we just got a lot of abuse because we was English, and she's coming to steal his land and all of that.
Fucking hell.
Which, to be fair to them,
Which, yeah,
she was trying to do.
And then, so they're trying to like tether us to get. He called up and was like, "If you don't get out this house, I'm gonna make you disappear." So we ended up in a safe house.
He was actually just a magician.
Yeah.
We don't get out, I'm going to make his disappear.
Yeah.
Paul Daniels working on your case.
And then, so we got like a restraining order and all that. And then I dropped out of school because I was getting like
I've got
abuse
school.
and all these what?
When I've got school.
Oh, that's it.
School? No, it's not funny.
Not laughing.
Not laughing. We've got
It's hilarious
school.
stuff we do.
Sorry, Amy.
It's good. Yeah, dropped out of school. And then I come back to England on my own and got called a chink every day on the bus and dropped out of school again.
Really? Did you
Yeah.
really?
Anyone's playing racial slur bingo here.
Yeah.
2 for 2 on the go.
So, yeah. What racial slur did you get, Dave?
No.
Cracker.
Imagine.
Yeah.
That's mad. The Irish are, of course, regarded by very many people within the Muslim community as the OGs of terrorism.
Yeah.
Oh, they love
Yeah.
the Irish. They set the path. They showed us the way. Very good.
That's hilarious.
Not quite similar stories, but in 1988, when my dad went to Bangladesh for the first time, he had 30 military officers waiting on site to shoot him on sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh,
Probably
So-
one would have done the job.
Yeah.
Fair.
Just wanted to make sure. So basically, 1971, Pakistan and what was East Pakistan had a major war,
Right.
and East Pakistan won and became Bangladesh.
Okay.
That was in 1971. And a lot of my family, as I mentioned before, were really involved in the formation of Bangladesh. And one of my uncles, two of them were executed, but one in particular, he was the chief of police.
Okay.
And so the Pakistani army captured him, took him away, and no one knows where he is. He's presumed dead. And his wife, my aunt, one of the fiercest women I've ever known in my life.
Yeah.
She's absolutely fucking insane. When Bangladesh gained independence, she was the first planning commissioner of the city.
Right.
This is a woman doing a job in the 70s in Bangladesh doing planning commissioning of the city. Anyway, so 1988, my dad, who's from Pakistan, he's Pakistani, they fly over to Bangladesh, and because our family had, I think they still do, but they had diplomatic immunity at the time.
Okay.
What happens is you fly into one part of the country, and then you take a private plane into another part of the airport. So the plane lands, and my dad looks outside, and there's 30 military officers, all with their guns ready,
At the door, like aimed at the
aimed
door.
at the plane.
No way.
And then my mum used me as a human shield,
Nice one.
carried me out going, I've got a baby. And I remember saying, holding my mum and being like, Mum, I mean, they could have killed me.
I imagine, yeah.
Right? And she was like, no, instead, you've been killing me slowly for the last 28 years. So then she goes down, she starts negotiating with the chief of the army, who was a friend of the family. And the chief of the army's like, your sister sent me to shoot the Pakistani inside. And she's like, that is my fucking husband. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do?
Your sister Suge Knight. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right? And he's like, well, you know I never argue with your sister. She goes, my sister's a bitch. How dare she fucking do this? Sort it out. There's no mobile phones at the time.
Did your auntie know it was your mum's husband?
Yeah.
And she
just was just like, oh.
Yeah. She was like, no, why would I have a Pakistani in my house? It's fucking ridiculous.
so when your mum gets to the house and she's like, oh, I know. Well, come on, we'll get over it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Well, so basically, my mum's arguing with of course, he's the chief of the fucking army. So at one point, he's like, why am I getting involved in this domestic issue?
Yeah.
This is a waste of my fucking time. So he goes, you know what? I'm going to take the boys. We're going to go back to the battalion, whatever. You need to talk to your sister. They get in their tanks or whatever, the jeeps. They fly. They go back. My mum's incensed. Instead of going to our house, goes straight to her sister's house. Imagine how the fucking dare you, bro?
That's mad, that, yeah.
And then my dad became that aunt's favourite.
That's mad, isn't it?
you know, I wanted you shot when I first met you. You're really growing up.
You're all right, kid.
And here I am being like, oh, she hasn't texted me back. You know, like,
That's mad.
what a different level of...
Can you imagine how scared your dad must have been?
My dad just said, I was just laying on the floor of the plane.
No, I mean just ever since. She's just looking at him over the dinner table like, anytime. And just pick up the phone.
Kill me.
Is that side of your family still involved, like, big in Pakistan with
In Bangladesh,
stuff?
I mean, there's like roads named after members of my family.
Right,
and, like,
okay.
certain areas.
Yeah.
So by that, yes. But a lot of them are kind of left. People have died. That aunt of mine passed away not long after my mum
Right,
did.
okay.
But their legacy is still there. They're still like
Yeah.
monuments to various members of my family
No
and
way.
stuff. It's kind of
That's
weird.
mad.
One day, Eshaan's going to make a joke and then like be shot like Sonny Corleone outside his house.
Yeah. So
No way,
it's
that's
a
mad.
it's a weird thing going to Bangladesh and experiencing all of that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is mad.
Kind of fun, yeah.
I wish I had interesting. You know, we had Glenn Wool and JJ Whitehead, didn't he? And their dads were really interesting. And
Yeah.
I just feel like we're like, it sounds amazing. This having a
Yeah.
family, a functional
Dads?
family.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Imagine Mikey's ever like, my dad did some access on a podcast once.
Yeah. Oh, you'll have a statue in Liverpool you soon.
Yeah.
Roads named after you here as well.
Yeah.
My
That's
granddad apparently swam from mainland China to Hong Kong.
How long is that?
I don't know.
I would love to for like half an hour.
Yeah.
It's quite a swim.
Jamie.
Pull it up, Jamie.
But apparently it was like 2 million of them did it. Like a big swim.
Jesus.
Escaping the communists and that.
Blimey.
And then he ended up in St. Helens. And then here I am.
There you are.
Yeah.
That's
Love that, innit?
sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like sharks and that. Just swam through.
Talking of sharks, my great.
Shark.
Yeah.
Right, wait.
Yeah.
it
Very
wrong?
good. My great grandfather
Yeah.
was knighted for services to the empire,
Right.
and he was gifted 4 tea plantations.
Yeah.
And the reason he was knighted was put down as social work, but he was actually a spy for the empire.
Wow.
So he'd spy on like local Bangladeshis who weren't paying their taxes,
Yeah.
or who were saying things that could be deemed as treason against against the
So
Empire.
was he a grass? Essentially, he was a grass, was he?
We got land, and can we build a tiny house on it?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
That's a tea plantation.
I just typed that in, and every answer's like just calling me stupid. It's like Hong Kong's part of China.
Google, come on, mate.
Oh, no way. So what, do you know, like, the tea plantations, does any of that make it to England? Like,
that's where all the tea comes from.
Is it all of it? Like,
Yorkshire tea, lads.
That's
what I mean, is
Sri
it?
Lanka.
Yeah.
Those are the parts of the world where all the tea comes from.
Yeah. So, like, PG tips and all
yeah,
that.
Yorkshire tea ain't in fucking Harrogate.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, might have had a little cup of tea off.
On the back of the council estate in Harrogate, there's some cannabis and some tea.
Yeah. That's mad. What a crazy story. Like, I've got nothing to add to that.
We did have another question from Kyle. Sorry, Niall. But it just says, what are you having for your tea? But I think you're going to go and...
What we have?
I'm going to get something in town. What you feel like? We'll close it out with what we scranning.
Eshaan and Amy are going to go on a date and leave Dean.
I know, yeah.
Well, I mean, do you have any dietary requirements?
Veggie. What about Mowgli? Do you like Mowgli?
Oh, is that an Indian thing? Did you pick that?
You racist piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, we've got a talisman. So
I know. I do know Mowgli.
Yeah.
From both the book, the film, and the restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that.
What's your favourite food?
That is non-Asian, non-brown. So my top 3 favourite foods are: I love Caribbean food, Vietnamese food, and Mexican food.
Oh, nice.
That's
nice
my
little top 3. Yeah.
Have you been to Death by Tacos? Shout out Death by Tacos in
Chester.
No,
mate.
Is that
honestly
unbelievable scran? Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, you'll have to go there.
Fine.
Maybe we go for pho.
Pho?
Yeah.
You can do a bit of pho.
I
want a bit of pho.
That's right.
See, I would go to a barbecue, but you're veggie.
Yeah.
We're literally planning a date right now, live.
Front of
while he's watching.
I can't wait to wank in the corner.
This is how it happens. It just happens.
Dean Coughlin over it. Right, I'm not beating that, so we're going.
He sounds right. He says very small things, and women just ask him to go on dates.
Yeah.
Hotels.
Well, he's got powerful grandparents and that.
That's what it is. It's the
like the stable boy me now.
He's gonna get cleaned out by.
That's right. Well, we'll wrap it up there, man. Nice one for coming down.
Thank you so much for having me. What a joy.
What are you online? I don't think I can say your Twitter handle.
Yeah, you can.
I can't.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You know what,
I don't want to say.
I'll give you permission.
His name's Michael Packentire.
Yeah, Michael Packentire and all.
Go follow him on social media. Are you doing tours or anything? Got a
Hopefully
show?
going on tour next year, but I'm doing lots of stuff in the run up to next year to prepare for that tour. I'm thinking of filming a special of my old bits in the summer.
Oh, sick!
So I'd love to see you guys come to that.
Yeah, man, defo. Let us know if you're doing in Liverpool.
Doing pods?
I am podding. I'm starting some stuff up with some different people, so just keep your eyes peeled. Follow me on the socials.
Go follow him on social media. Our live show, April 13th, Freddie Quinn's coming on. Get tickets for that. It's going to be dead fun. Phase 1 gigs at the end of every month. Hot water on Mondays. Sign up to the Patreon because there's some fun shit happening over there. Got some big things coming on that.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, you've got for next month on the Phase 1?
I don't know who's closing yet, so I need to work that out because I try and get them on the podcast as well. Nice. 2 birds at once.
Do what I did. What I'm doing today.
2 buildings, 1 plane.
We'll work out a closer for that. Hey.
2 towers, 2 planes.
It was 2 planes as well, yeah.
Not if I controlled it.
I know we're wrapping up the pod, but I can't remember who it was, but someone told me a really funny story where he was like, the people I think about most about 9/11 is a person in the second tower who was like calling his wife, being like, "You won't believe what just happened. I'm so lucky."
Yeah, man, imagine that.
It's just really funny. I don't know why I find it funny. It's really bad. I'm really sorry.
Well, we're going to end on that one, I guess. Nice one again for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Go check out all that stuff I just said. Anyone got anything else to say?
Love ya.
Love you all.
Thanks,
See you later.
bye.
Nice one.